This is episode 113, Why Your Goals May Be What's Preventing Them. Welcome to Alive by Design. My name is Blake Mallon, and we're here to bring you inspiring people, principles, and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. Open your mind and let's dive in. Hey guys, before you listen to the podcast, I just want to drop in and say I appreciate you for being here, and I'm super excited about this new Walk With Me series. These are solo episodes where I take some time in the middle of my morning run through the Santa Monica Mountains to share some inspired ideas and thoughts on my mind and heart. If you want to join me for any of these conversations live, you can catch me many mornings on my Facebook page, facebook.com/BlakeMallon.page. Would love to see you there. Love you guys. Enjoy the episode. Walk with me. So, launching a brand new year, 2022, the whole New Year's resolution conversation is always on the top of a lot of people's minds. And it got me thinking about how coming into a new year, so much of the population of the world, if you think about it, is all thinking about brand new goals, what they want to achieve, accomplish, the outcomes they want, the results we want in a new year. Kind of a cool thing to think about, a simultaneous worldwide consciousness focused on an achievement over the same time frame. How many of you actually set some goals for yourself for 2022? And it got me thinking about this whole concept of goal setting, even beyond a new year or New Year's resolutions, and how so much of what we've been conditioned or trained to do focuses on results. A specific result. And I understand why. If you think about it, ever since as far back as I can remember, we have literally been trained or conditioned to focus on a result as a measurement of our quote-unquote success or our achievement. A result as a influencing factor on how we feel if we did a good job or a bad job. From the letters we get on a paper or exam or report card result to the dollars we get on the paycheck or commission or salary or bank account balance to the number of pounds that reflect back to us on the scale or the BMI index on our app. Matter of fact, I'm willing to bet if you think about anything you're moving toward right now, I'm willing to bet you probably naturally focused in on a result. Am I right or am I wrong? If you're thinking about your 2022 goals, or even the way that you set milestones for yourself, how many of you can think about some results, some key metrics that you're focused on right now? And the reason I bring this up at this time of the year is I've come to experience that, well, don't misunderstand me, I'm a big fan of goal setting. I think it's an important part of progressing. I've also come to experience that sometimes the over-focus on the result may become more damaging, more of a detriment, more harmful to us than it is helpful. Which may be a counterintuitive philosophy from a guy you would expect to be ranting about goal setting, and how maybe the results you're focused on right now are actually holding you back and not propelling you forward. And while I'm a fan of setting goals as milestones or achievement markers, I think there's something way more powerful to put our energy into than the results you may be obsessing over right now. And I want to talk about that mindset shift with all of you today. My brain's going today, I'll warn you. Got my Naranha Nat, almost empty, fueling my body and mind this morning. One of my favorites. Kind of damp. Finished raining this morning. I love the energy. After a rain, it's just different. I'm gonna sit down if that's okay with y'all. So here's what I mean. Some of you guys are like, wait, hold up. What are you talking about? Goal setting results? Isn't that what I'm been taught to do? Yes, we've all been taught to do it. And don't misunderstand me, I'm a fan of goal setting. I've done it habitually every year for as far back as I can remember. Matter of fact, I was going through my goal book coming into the new year where I have them literally archived every year. And that book alone goes all the way back to 2006. It was crazy to me to flip through 15 years of personal goals. And I know I have goals before that format. And yes, all of my goals in those books are focused on a result, and I'm sure your guys are as well. But here is what I've experienced, and track with me here. You tell me if you felt the same thing. Over the years, I've set goals based on results, and sometimes I've achieved those goals, right, and celebrate. But very often, I'll set goals that are ambitious, that are kind of outside my comfort zone, and sometimes I'll set goals and time frames that I don't achieve. How many of you guys have ever set a goal on a time frame that you flat out just didn't achieve? And I have certain goals, and I'm just being open and honest with you guys, that have been on my goal list like for year after year after year after year for long periods of time. How many of you guys have ever set goals that are like things you had a set time frame on, and it seems like it's been there forever? And there becomes a point where if you're not careful or don't understand, sometimes a results-focused goal actually becomes demotivating, where almost now you're setting goals and giving up before you start. Or even worse, how many of us have been focused on a specific result? And when we didn't achieve that result, beyond just losing enthusiasm to try it again, it almost has a reverse effect. You start beating yourself up. You start getting down on yourself. You start having negative self-talk. You start, lessening your own internal dialogue because you didn't achieve the goal. We start having negative conversations of, right, hey, we're not good enough, or we're not worth it, or why'd you do that? And we start beating ourselves down, which is not going to move us in any positive direction. How many of you have had a goal where you were focused on a measurable result that you didn't achieve and ended up having a reverse effect on your own emotional state? Sometimes, and some people, we set certain measurable results, and just the focus on them creates anxiety, creates stress. Matter of fact, before we even get to a point whether we achieve or don't achieve, just the mere focus creates a internal tenseness or internal negative, anxious energy that sometimes stops us in our tracks, right? Fight, flight, or freeze. Fight is one, but flight and freeze are 2 out of the 3. And sometimes just the thinking around a result can paralyze ourselves. I'm sure if we were all to look back in our own history, there's been results, outcomes we are focused on in various parts of our life. Maybe it was health. That's an obvious one this time of the year. Maybe it was finances. Maybe it was relationship. Maybe it was work, right? Maybe you said, I'm going to have the love of my life by the time I'm 30, right? Or I'm going to have X amount of dollars in the bank by the time I'm, 27. Or I'm going to have, X many, dollars a year in salary by the time I'm this age, right? Anything around any aspect of our life. Who's tracking with me? Sometimes we set certain outcomes, and the minute we set them, that result becomes debilitating. You guys, this is what I'm saying, where sometimes an over-focus on the result can have an inverse effect of what we're trying to accomplish. And I'll go back to what I mentioned earlier. We've been conditioned to focus on the result, especially in Western society and civilizations versus the lessons or philosophy, at least I've studied in other parts of the world. We are over-focusers on the result. We put an emphasis on the end, where there's other philosophies around the world that put a much more energy and focus on the journey in between. So again, don't misunderstand me. I think when it comes to goal setting, it's important to have milestones. It's important to have benchmarks, right, that we can measure ourselves against. We don't want to completely wipe that out of our, universe, because you got to have a goal, right, to move towards, something that creates a direction for yourself. But I'm going to give you a big shift, because that is just one of the starting points. In my opinion, once you have a goal, something to move you in a direction, your focus, your energy from that point forward is no longer on that goal. So you might be saying, well, Blake, what are you talking about then? If it's not focused on the result, if it's not obsessing over the number on the scale, the dollar in the bank, the dollar in the salary, the BMI, the insert whatever result you are focused on right now, then where should my attention go? Where should my focus go? Where should my energy go? Because I think even more important than the result is we need to learn to shift our focus and energy into our intention. I think the intention is much more important on a day-to-day, practical way of life than the result. What is your intention that you're bringing into whatever direction you're focused on right now? And I'm going to give you some examples here when I talk about an intention. I think an intention that's going to serve you the best, all of us the best, is an intention that you're going to be able to accomplish, right, or maintain regardless of the circumstance or outcome in that moment. In other words, it's inevitable, whatever journey you're on right now, whatever path you're on right now, there's going to be times you are winning, but there's also going to be times you are losing. There's going to be times where everything is working, and there's going to be times where you feel like everything is not. There's going to be times where you're in flow and it's effortless, and there's going to be time where it just feels like it's a never-ending struggle. Am I right or am I wrong? That is a normal part of any journey or any process. So an intention that's going to serve us is an intention that you can stick to, that you can get fulfillment out of, regardless of if you're on the peak or if you're on the valley at that moment in time. I'll give you some examples of some intentions that have served me over the years, some intentions that you might want to adopt in whatever your current focus is. I'll give you an example of one intention. How about an intention not around the accomplishment of the goal, the result, the outcome, but how about an intention around the growth, the development, the learning along the way? You see, if you have an intention around growth, if you shift from a goal to a growth mindset, not what did I accomplish, but what did I learn? Not where did I get, but how did I get better, right? A growth along the way, that's something that your intention can be served no matter where you're at in the moment. Because I've had some amazing victories, right? And I learned some awesome things to get to that victory, but I've had some devastating defeats. We all have. But because my intention was always to grow and to learn, I can even look back on the biggest losses and say, okay, what did I learn from this? What principles can I extract from this? How did I get better because of this? No matter the high, no matter the low, no matter the moment that we're in, you can grow and you can get better from it. If that's your intention, you are now detached from the result or the outcome. Whatever the outcome that you achieve, you can still honor or meet your intention. And how are you going to feel in that scenario, regardless of where you end up? If you're meeting what you set out to accomplish, if you're progressing the intention, now you're in control entirely of your experience. I'll give you another example of a good intention. How about an intention to serve or to contribute? In any scenario, a project at work, an initiative that you're launching, something brand new you're bringing to the world, right? Something that you want to accomplish. If your intention is to serve and contribute, how often can you do that? In what circumstance? However often you want, in any circumstance. There's always ways to add value. There's always ways to serve. There's always ways to contribute. If you come from a place of service, how can I give energy to this situation? That is entirely in your control, regardless of what the circumstance or situation is. That's an intention that you can honor. And if that's your intention and you're honoring that every day, regardless of the result, how are you going to feel about yourself along the way? I'll give you one that is one of my strong intentions for 2022. One of my big intentions for this year is to go into what I call my own kind of internal label, a personal momentum. And a personal momentum, it's around energy, right? And some of you guys know I talk about that a lot. It's just something that comes kind of natural to me, a feeling of energy. So for me, one of my intentions this year is to make sure my energy is going in the right direction in all aspects of my life. I'm having a personal momentum, a forward energy, a forward progress. That's an intention I want to bring to everything. Regardless of the outcome, the steps, the results, or the circumstance, I want to bring that type of energy into a situation. And my intention is to bring a personal momentum, a forward-moving energy into all aspects of my life, spiritually, my family, my health, my business, my finances. That's one of my intentions for this year, regardless of what the result that comes after it is. And you guys, there's a million other intentions that can honor or fall into the same directive here. But the bottom line is to focus on an intention that is what you want. That is the reason why. That is the power behind. That is what you want to get out of the journey. Regardless of if you tick the box, cross the finish line, check the milestone, accomplish the goal, or not. And what you'll find, in my opinion, is if you focus on the intention consistently, habitually, every single day, what's going to end up happening is you're going to be filling yourself up with praise. You're going to be filling yourself up, right, with support. You're going to filling yourself up with positive reinforcement because every day you are accomplishing what you set out to do. And that's going to build a momentum. And that type of energy and self-validation is going to give you what you need to move you further faster, to get you toward that goal or that milestone you ultimately set out. But the focus is not on the goal. The focus is on the retention. The goal or the result, guys, is an outcome of the process. So again, I don't want this to be misconstrued as an anti-goal setting conversation. I think we need goals as milestone markers. It's how we keep score, right, in this day and age. And it also gives us a direction to point toward and put our energy toward. But I think for many of us, there might be an over-focus or over-obsession on the result that might be hindering the very thing you're trying to do. Set the goal and then put it aside for your year or your month or your quarter or whatever your goal setting process is, and shift your energy to what's the intention that you want to bring to that every single day, and focus on that. That's your energy. That's your attention. And then trust the process along the way. And my hope for all of you, my real wish, is yes, think big, set some awesome goals, set some milestones that excite you, but create some intentions that you can live and be proud of yourself for moving toward every single day, because you're going to be a better you. You're going to be a better you for yourself and the world around you, putting your energy in that direction, in my humble opinion. Hope your year is off to an amazing start. Until the next time we walk together, hope all of you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and here's to putting the right intention behind a better you in 2022.
Hey guys, one last thing. I'm super excited that this new podcast, Alive by Design, just went live. You see, I designed the show to bring you inspired thoughts and fascinating conversations with the world's most impactful people, to provide transformative principles and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. And I'd love for you to help me spread the word now. Simply subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on this platform right now. So if I've ever given you value, please do me this personal favor and go subscribe now. And if you found today's episode helpful in any way, make sure you share this with at least one friend today. You have the power right now to change someone's day. So send them a text message with a link to alivebydesign.com.
or simply copy and paste the link right from this podcast platform. Who's one person you know right now that you want to see succeed, that you want to see grow, that you want to see feel more alive? Shoot them a text with your largest takeaway from today and be a light in their day. And if you were referred here by a friend, make sure you shoot them a text back and say thank you. I'd love to hear from you directly on what you got from today's podcast. So if you're up for it, drop by my Instagram @BlakeMallon and shoot me a DM. And as always, thank you for showing up. I'm grateful for you, and I hope our time together today in some small way helped you feel a little more alive. Until next time.